might disagree with you on mental toughness because if you got a newer guy, and that's all by definition, what's a beginner? Because that's open.
Well, we know what's a beginner.
No, not really.
I mean, basically, yes.
But a guy who's been training, 2 or 3 months, and he's asking, because we've had, players that are saying, how do I get better? What do I do? And so you were asking, what do I do? And you said, well, what can I do for flexibility? What do you think about strength? You were asking Preston, what do you think about stamina? And then Preston gave you his take on that. But I was saying on certain aspects, mental toughness is that some guys will get discouraged, and that's all I'm saying is some guys get discouraged by getting submitted.
Exactly.
And but let me finish. So they get submitted, and I agree with taking a guy or a gal and say, okay, this is what you need to do. Sometimes it's like having a baby. You spoon feed, but there are times you say, you know what, you've got to go on your own. And then when the person comes back and say, well, now what do I do now? In this aspect, in stand up versus, let's say, being in the guard or being on your back in side control, you have to kind of let them swim also. You have kids, and sometimes you teach them to swim. You got to take the little floaties off.
This is swim.
So exactly. That's the mental toughness part. I'm saying I'm not talking about smashing. But I'm saying somebody gets in side control, and you're putting pressure on the face.
Yeah.
And you're saying, okay, dude.
All right, so I'm on side control, yeah.
Yeah, and you're putting
I do this,
and you're saying, dude, okay.
and I do this. So yeah, now what?
So
you're a beginner. You don't know anything.
No,
What's the point? What's the point of me doing this to you?
No, if you
except for my ego.
No,
and it makes me feel good. Then what? Then why would I do this to you?
If they have ammunition. If they have ammunition already. So if
a beginner does not have ammunition.
No, if they have ammunition.
Well, this is when he starts learning and gets much more advanced.
Not the first day. So let's say he knows. Okay, so you're putting pressure.
Right.
And he's got to hip out.
Okay.
So as he starts to get a little better,
then he gets better. Yes.
Absolutely. But that's what I'm saying. That is still in the beginner stage.
You're changing it.
No.
Yes, you are. You said beginners.
Beginner. Because
so I want to hear what Andrew says.
There's different aspects of beginners. We're not talking about when a baby's born, he's newborn.
Different aspects of beginner. Okay,
he's newborn. But as he starts to grow, he's still a child, he's still a baby, but you give him different tasks. So this student that we're talking about could be...
What does that have to do with mental toughness?
Because as you're on top and you're pushing my face, you say, okay, what do you do now? You say, okay, well, you start to move your legs out. And then you start to put some pressure on the throat.
That's not mental toughness. That's learning. Technique. Mental toughness is the guy's like he's on you.
No, that's smashing. That's smashing. That's smashing.
See, it's a whole different thing what you're talking about. Mental toughness has nothing to do with what we're doing.
Yes.
No, it does not.
It does.
It's being perceptive and wanting to learn.
Okay. Yesterday.
Let me ask you something. He's a beginner. Can I ask you something? Sure. How would you feel every time you come here and somebody chokes you out or always gives you like really a hard time to fight, and you feel like you're not really, I don't know what to do. Right. You're frustrated. Yeah. What would you feel like? Would you keep coming back? Would you be frustrated?
For me, it depends on how it kind of went down. That happened, but afterwards there was a coaching or critiquing, say, hey, this is what you need to do. This is why that happened. I'm like, all right, and I try to learn from it. But if it was just that, and it's nothing constructive,
right?
It would get annoying.
Oh, let me ask you something. When you train with me, how do you feel when you do it when I do it with you? I think I try to help you learn. How do you feel? Do you feel like I'm trying to dominate you? Am I trying to? Or do you really learn when I try to do things?
Definitely. Well, the other day you were we were sparring, and you commented on my trying to keep under control.
Right.
And that was helpful.
Exactly.
Now in the back of my head, just try to keep myself a little more.
Now, if I didn't say that to you, all I did was try to take you down and choke you, and you're like, try to make moves on you. I mean, what are you learning? You're not, right? So it's a matter of learning. I don't know where this mental toughness comes from. Mental toughness, they say, yeah, I'm going to go and get better. That has nothing to do with being here, right? It says saying, I'm going to stick to this, and I'm going to get really good at it.
No.
That's what it is.
No, but
I don't think you finished really your point on.
All right. You know what? I'll shut up.
Can I ask, like, if this was, if I'm on the right track for what you're saying, if you're here and I got, good shoulder pressure, and I taught this guy already how to escape,
Right.
and if his opponent is turning his chin and he tries to escape, go ahead, try for a second, and then he gives up. He's like, oh, it doesn't work. That move you showed me doesn't work.
Right.
That didn't work because of lack of mental toughness. That's what you're saying. Because it does work. You just have to endure the shoulder there a little bit, and you got to go ahead and escape now. You put my shoulder, frame my head away, and you get the underhook. You can get up. But if he doesn't have the mental toughness to execute the move he was taught, that's a problem too.
Okay. No,
I think that's what he's saying.
Yes. To add to that, that's very good. But if he doesn't know exactly how to do the move, what's the point of mental
That's
toughness?
true. I agree.
But
agree with you on that.
no, but that's. I'm saying more or less. I'm saying we're saying the same thing. So I'm saying you give a student the tools, and just like Mark said, he would a student would feel frustrated.
Sorry, man.
If
all right, don't worry.
he or she didn't have the tools. So if you said to somebody, I want you to make this house, and all you have is mud, but I'm not giving you any brick, that's frustrating. So if a student has the tools, he or she has the tools, then they can go on.
And in order to make the tools work, it takes time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
This
that
process.
takes away the beginner aspect.
So, but it also takes mental toughness.
There you go.
Because if he's like, oh, bang nails, and he's like, oh, this is hard.
Yeah.
This won't work. I'd have to nail like 100,000 nails.
I think all of us are kind of right.
I think so too.
All right. The next one, last question. Who did you learn more with the mirror or with me?
Oh, here we go.
Don't